believe there's something special happens when the church comes together to love Chilliwack and worship Jesus. Amen. It makes a difference. Yeah, and I want to thank you today. Yeah, you can clap. That's great. I want to thank you for supporting the spiritual care. That when Fraser House said we can't afford it anymore, the churches came forward and said we're going to do it. And so for the number of churches that included in their budget and for those that give in the offering, thanks for doing that. It's awesome. Since I've been there for almost 2 years, I've just become more and more aware of how critical it is that we provide spiritual care at our hospital. I can't think of another place in Chilliwack where there's that many needy people all at one time, and all that have, they're staying there, they're not going anywhere, and they're open for you to come and talk to them. So it's just an amazing place. The thing that still amazes me the most is how many of them don't go to church. So there's no pastor coming in to see them. And there's lots of reasons why. One of the big ones is when they move to Chilliwack, they just never reconnect with the church. They might have gone where they used to, they have good intentions, but they just don't reconnect. Probably the biggest one is our hospital is full of elderly people. Many that can't get to church anymore. And if they could, they couldn't sit that long. So their church is on TV where they watch services. But unfortunately, they don't get to interact with the people, and they don't have a pastor that comes to visit them. Every day when I'm at the hospital, I see over and over again how fragile life is. That none of us have a guarantee. We never know when things will change. And so I have many opportunities. Imagine what it's like to be lying alone in your bed in the morning, you've come in for tests, and the doctor comes in and says to you, you've got cancer. Imagine what that feels like. Imagine what it's like when the doctor comes in and says, there's nothing else we can do for you. You're terminal. You're going to go to hospice to spend the last few weeks of your life. Imagine how that feels. Imagine how you think when you're coming in for tests and you're still there 5 months later, and now you're depressed and discouraged and feeling hopeless. Imagine what it's like to be there and to be told, the infection keeps spreading, we're going to have to amputate your leg. Or there's a lady there now that's had her second leg amputated. Imagine what that feels like. Imagine what it's like to be told your spouse is going to die. You're going to be alone after 60 years of marriage. Or imagine what it's like to be the parents of a teenager waiting in emergency who has just attempted suicide. Imagine how that feels. To be told you're elderly and to be told you're not going to go home again. You're going to have to go into a home where people can look after you. That's really tough on a lot of people. Or just to be there and your child has overdosed on drugs and you don't know if he or she is going to make it. To sit with your spouse who's just suffered a heart attack or a stroke or something else and wonder what life holds ahead for you. And many that are there that struggle with God, wondering how God could allow this to happen to their spouse, that they could suffer so much and now they're going to die. Over and over again. Or people that are there and nobody comes to visit them. They haven't been in Chilliwack long. They know nobody. You know what? I hear stories like that every day. I get to walk into rooms like that every day where people need to experience the love and the compassion of Christ. What an opportunity to do that. I get to pray with people that are dying and need an assurance that they are going to go to heaven, that they have a future after this life. Almost everyone will come to the hospital one day. See, we have all our churches in town, and we've got a lot of churches in Chilliwack, but there's many people that will never come to our church. No matter how good the music and how good the preaching, you know what? Most of them will come to the hospital at some point, either as a patient or as a guest. Our beds are full 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. There's a lineup in emergency waiting to get a bed. They're always there, and always wonderful opportunities. Many are worried and scared and more open to God than they've been in a long time. And we have the freedom to bring God's love and compassion and hope of an eternity with Him to people that lie there. Every day I go home and I think, I'm glad I was there today. What a privileged position that I have. And I want to thank you for giving as you've done over the last 2 years, and as I know you're going to continue to do, that we can meet those people with the hope of Jesus Christ that lie in our hospital. Thank you.